joined in the studio by Harith Bakri. Harith, welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here.
Yeah.
You've come all the way from Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is, well, you're neighbours, but it's a bit of a journey. It's an hour by plane. So you're based in Kuala Lumpur?
Yeah, that's right.
And you're Malaysian?
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So we're not going to talk about the Malaysian Singaporean food. We're talking a little bit off air about that, but we don't want to raise any controversy. Yeah. We're going to talk about Galaspace, which is your gig, your main thing, your startup. We're going to talk about the journey that you've been on, the problem that you're focused on solving, and also, where you go from here. What the future offers for Galaspace and the event space that you're in as well. So Harith, let's start at the top. Galaspace, what's it all about? Tell us what the problem is that you're solving and what it is that you do.
So last year I had a aha moment. So I was an university student. Yeah, technically I am right now.
By the way, how old are you? Just I think it's worth sharing because this is quite interesting in itself.
Yeah,
right?
I'm currently 19 this year.
19, good for you. That's a great age for startup founders. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg was 19 when he started Facebook, and you have Sean Fanning as well. Yeah, another one, 19 when he started Napster. So
yeah, that's right.
Don't let me stop you. 19, Harith, go on.
So my aha moment was that we were assigned. My lecturer assigned me to create an event for what's called a charity event. So we kind of like trying to find an event space and all that. So despite finding them, we had to go one of the site. And then we had to make them booking and all that. We have to email them. It's kind of a bit tedious, take time, and as a student, we we want to save our money for the transportation costs and all that, right? Yeah. So that came into mind. Who has done this actually? If there's no one does that, then maybe I should do one.
Well, there's no solutions out there if you want to go and find an event space.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Event space and also event services, because we had to find food catering, and also some of the additional event services that we need to have during when we organize a charity event. Yeah.
So how many people were you organizing this event for?
Well, surprisingly, because our class was about 120, so it splits into half. We had 60 people, and most of the remaining half did not do anything, just attend the event. That's it.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay, so let's just understand. You were at university.
Yeah, that's right.
Your professor or your lecturer said to you, right, this is the project. You've got to go out and organize this event. Yeah. You went out there, looked for available solutions. There was none that suited what you were trying to do. Yeah. So you decided, well, I'm going to start my own. How did that happen? What was the process that you went through?
So I had a previous startup as well. So even then, I may have a similar situation where I had to look for a team. So despite finding the team and creating a team, it will be quite a risk, a gamble, because you don't know anyone. Yeah. So I managed to find, I was playing a game called Habbo.
Habbo Hotel?
Yeah, that's right.
Do people still play that?
Yeah, there is in Singapore and Malaysia actually. So yeah,
that's old. That's from way back.
Yeah. Did you play that game?
I remember it. I'm talking like more than 10 years ago. It was around.
That's right. No, still people playing that. Yeah. So the adults are playing that game. Yeah. Coming to the chase is that I made friends with them who are developers, business person, that are working professionally.
Through Habbo Hotel?
Yeah, they're still playing that.
So you met through Habbo Hotel and then you just said, hey, let's start a business together.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Was this your current business, Galaspace, or the one before?
The current business.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So the previous business...
It's an interesting recruitment strategy.
So the previous business is that I found a team through hashtag on Instagram. Yeah.
How did that... So this is Calendaria, right?
Yeah, Calendaria previously.
This is your social calendar app that you had before.
Yeah.
Before we talk a little bit about Galaspace, maybe we can sort of wind back a little bit and talk about Calendaria, because the interesting thing, you're 19, you're a startup founder, but it's not your first startup, right? Yeah. So what happened before? What were you doing before this?
So that, let's get back to 2013, is that I wanted to do something that is... it's like different to normal teenagers, because I feel like going through the drama and silly high school drama and all that. I feel like maybe I should do something different to create influence and give value. So my friend shared me a video called Code Stars. It's it features what's called Chris Bosh, the NBA All-Star, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey and all that. They share you about why you want to code, why you should code and all that.
Right.
So that video led me to where I am right now, is that because I'm very passionate about it actually.
Right, so this was way back in 2014, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it came to mind that I should create something as a start.
Right.
Yeah, as a learning pathway.
Yeah. So you were what? You were 15?
Yeah, in 2014 I was 15.
Right, so you started your first business when you were 15. Was it a business or was it just an app back then?
Just an app. We don't have any kind of business.
Right.
Yeah.
Did it become a business?
Not really.
Right, it was just an app.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a stepstone to develop myself as an individual who wants to venture into business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it taught you about building teams, developing code and so on. Yeah. And then Galaspace started over a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And was that started as a business, or did that start as an app or a website first?
It was just a rough idea.
Yeah.
And then we could get serious when we talk about business stuff and all that, right? That's market size, business opportunity and all that. So let's get things done seriously.
Yeah.
And then, you know what, this is what we are approaching right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's have a quick look at what's on offer. This is your website here, if you're watching on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
So, you basically are a marketplace for events.
Yeah, that's right.
Event hosts and event venues, right? Okay. So, what are we looking at now? If we just have a quick look at your website, we're looking at some selections here.
Yeah, that's right. Currently, we just beta launch, we just announced a few days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're currently inviting event space owner, event service provider to join our platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's the challenge in that model? Is the challenge getting the event venues or getting the buyers of those venues affected, the renters, if you like? Because you're building a two-sided marketplace, aren't you?
That's right. Actually, depends on what kind of event space owners that they're looking at.
Yeah.
Because maybe if you're a restaurant owner, then it will be challenging because there will be customers and all that. So it may affect their business day. So if you're looking at the warehouse or something like a huge open event space, then you can let event services provider to utilize the
Right. So a larger, obviously more expensive services provider, but yourself you can kind of come at all levels of the event venue space, right?
So we want it to be affordable, low cost, because creating an event will be what's called very expensive. And also it's almost one-time thing. So that's the reason why we want it to be a low cost also.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about who's in your team at the moment. Obviously yourself, Harith. Who else do you have with you? And tell me which ones actually came from Habbo Hotel.
Looking at the website is that we have
there's 5 of you there.
Yeah, there are 4 of us. 4 of us are from Habbo Hotel, and one really? Was and then one.
Did they know each other through Habbo Hotel?
Yeah, they do. Okay. Yeah. So the what's called the one on the below me. Yeah. That's the person I met in high school.
Yeah. So what sort of age is everybody here?
Mostly around my age.
Okay.
Just about what's called 2 years difference.
Who's the youngest?
Me.
You're the youngest. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the age from 19 up to 20, 21.
Yeah, that's right.
Are they graduates? What's the sort of education? Did they stay on at university, or what sort of backgrounds do they have?
Yeah, most of our team members are from computer science.
Yeah.
So about 4 of us are computer science students.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you just come to the beta at the moment? You've launched that. How did you fund it up until now? Was it just all your own money? Did you have investment?
Not right now. Although we are looking for investment right now.
Okay. So you bootstrapped it as well.
Bootstrapping right now.
It's quite easy. I suppose if you're younger as well, you have lower overheads and so on. So tell us a little bit about your funding at the moment. You're out there actively fundraising. What are you looking for?
Currently, we're looking for pre-seed investors, so that we can use that funds to optimize our system, recruit new engineers, and also use that fund for marketing. And
And how much are you looking for?
120,000
ringgit.
Dollars.
Singapore dollars. Yeah. Okay, so it's about 80,000 US. Is that about right? 90,000 US.
No idea about that.
Roughly. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is to help you explore the market, get to revenues. And so you're not at revenues at the moment, or
no,
you are?
Not right now.
Okay, all right.
So we are currently with that revenues. I mean, with that funding, we could operate into 2 different countries, which is Singapore and also Malaysia.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to ask you a little bit about where it goes from here, but before that, I'm curious about how your peers, so being a 19-year-old entrepreneur, is that a rarity in Kuala Lumpur, where you're from? Are there many of those? I mean, how do people react to that?
Well, I feel that, I think that we should normalize, because it's still rare. To have someone who is doing these things at a very young age. But despite of that, among my close circles, they were starting to, initially they were like, nah, this is too early for you.
Right. What do they mean by that? It's too risky, or you should go and get a proper job, if I can quote unquote that?
No, it's like, when I was in high school, they were like, no, you shouldn't do this and all that, because it should be the ones who doing this when you are grown up and all that. Go through the what's called proper system and all that, right?
Yeah. What would that proper system be?
Definitely graduate your high school, then get a university degree, then you can start going where you want to be.
Right. The established career path, right?
Yeah.
So what about yourself? Are you graduate or university?
No, I'm still studying, actually.
You're still studying?
Yeah.
So you're running this business whilst you're studying?
Yeah. I just started my degree right now.
Oh, you just started your degree right now. So, obviously, if investors are listening, that's one thing that they may want to know about, is that how do you expect them to fund you if you're still at university?
Well, because I am a person, not really, but I find myself to manage to find a time, and if there's a time that I do not feel, there's an empty time and all that, I try to fulfill it.
Okay.
And also, if we're going to fund in Singapore, and running in Malaysia, so it doesn't really need what's called. The distance of it, the operating, all that, it doesn't
It doesn't create an issue? You don't see it doesn't. Okay. Yeah. All right. I had to ask, because somebody's going to be thinking that. And the other members of your team, are they all students or are they graduates?
Both of them are graduates.
Yeah. Okay, so you do have some full-time.
Most of all of them are currently working, all that. They are graduated.
Right. Okay. What would happen if this thing really took off and you find yourself sitting on a Facebook, and you're at university? Have you ever thought about that? What would that mean to you? Do you ever think about that sort of that decision that you may have to make at some point?
If I have come to that kind of decision, yes, I need to drop out on that.
Right.
Although my mom kind of disagree on that, but on the other hand, if my dad says that, it seems like he may agree, because he is also a dean in the university.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So he should know. All right, so let's talk about growth. Where is the growth in this market? Where obviously you're targeting geographical growth, Malaysia and Singapore. Isn't there a danger that this market is easy to get into? I could go and set up a portal for event spaces and be your competitor, and we're both sort of at each other, and it's who can maybe have the best SEO, who maybe can provide the cheapest deal for the event space. Have you sort of thought through that process in terms of protecting your market?
Yes, because he actually community centric. So with that in mind, we can really focus on acquiring customers and all that, because we can see that we provide value to the community and all that.
Yeah. And how would you do that? How would you sort of protect those relationships?
By giving them ambassadorship discounts, and give them guidelines, tips, and all that. Because we are targeting students, especially like me when I had the idea, because they need to create an event, and also we also focus on corporate events.
Okay, so when you say you're targeting students, you mean students as the event bookers or the event space owners?
They both of them actually, because they need an event space, and also they need services that to support the event. So that the event will be running smoothly and all that.
Right. Yeah. And how big is that event market for students? Do you know? I mean, how active is it? I wouldn't know. I mean, obviously there's a lot of nightlife and all those kind of like cultural and entertainment events. Can you just give us a feel for how big?
Because every student's maybe about, so every student's that's in university. In their first or in 1 year period, they have to organize about at least 2-3 events.
Oh, they have to?
Yeah.
As a part of their course?
Assignment and all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So imagine if every universities are doing that.
Yeah.
So it's a huge opportunity.
Is that specific to one university, or is that
every university actually? Because they want. I mean, the university would like to market their brand name and all that.
Yeah. And what sort of event spaces would they go to?
It depends on what kind of event they organize, but mostly it will be charity events, and it could be for me as myself as a computer science students. They have to look for open space event. So that they could organize hackathon or
Right. Okay, interesting. Tell us a little bit about your team. I know we've sort of seen them already. There's the 5 of you. There's 4 from Habbo Hotel, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to your company culture as well. What it's like working in that team. How do you work together? Obviously, you're in university as well, and you have the other 4 are in the working world. How do you cooperate as a team? Tell us a little bit about the culture of your company.
So almost every meeting that we have to attend, is done through Skype, because most of us are not really from the same place. One is in Singapore, and then both 2, including me, in KL. And then the rest are in Philippines and also London.
Right. Okay.
So we have to every night. I mean, not every night, but almost every night that we have to go through Skype and discuss. Yeah.
Right. So there's 5 of you in 4 different countries.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Yeah. But you all get together for your group meeting.
Yeah, through Skype. Yeah.
Okay. So is there any issues in managing across time zones?
Yeah. Sometimes we have to cancel and all that. Yeah. But along the way, as what. I mean, initially, they have a lot of commitments and all that. But right now, as you see, that things getting much more serious and all that, and they see the vision that we want to execute and all that, they seem too keen to fulfill their time to Galaspace. Yeah.
Okay, and are they all quite technical people? Or?
Yeah, technical people, and also one of our team members is much more experienced in business development.
Yeah, that's key, isn't it? Yeah. So what was his background?
He is currently bar manager.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, I've run sales-oriented businesses before, where we've had sales teams, and I've sometimes found that sometimes the best salespeople aren't necessarily the ones who spent years and years in sales, like as a professional salesperson, but they've worked in retail. So they've worked in bars or they've worked in stores. They just have a really good way with people. They can talk, they feel confident, they like engaging people, and they're there to get business as well. They're not necessarily people who've done 20 years as a business development manager for an IT company. Often they're people who just work with people every day and sell to people, and they might not even think of it as sales, like you mentioned your friend from the bar background, but that's selling. If he's good at his job, if he's good at talking to people and getting people into the bar, he's going to generate sales.
Yeah, that's right. Whenever I visit his workplace, there's always a friend that's trying to greet him and all that.
Yeah.
So that took me by surprise, actually. Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. It's good. It's good to see as well with your team that you have that business development front as well, because it's easy developing any kind of app or any kind of technology just to kind of hide behind the computer screen, right?
Yeah.
How about in terms of your advisors? Do you have advisors? Are you planning to get advisors? What kind of? I mean, because I know you had an app before, but it wasn't a startup per se, and this for you is sort of new territory in terms of the raise as well. What are you doing in that?
We're actually open to have anyone who would like to be our advisor. But currently, I'm actually closely mentored by my dad because he's not really from academic, but he also back in the 90s he was a businessman. Yeah, he was a government contractor.
Okay, good. So he's giving you some good advice and
that's right.
Help you avoid the pitfalls. You said you're open to advisors as well. What kind of door openers would you be looking for as well?
Advisors who can see who can scale, and also give us a strategic advice about building the team, and also how the business can go.
Yeah, and would you also look for people from the event space or hospitality, or is that not important?
We are open to that actually. Because although my partner who is a bar manager, he has vast experience in event management also.
Okay, good, excellent. So tell us a little bit about the future and where you hope this to go. What are your plans? I know you said that you have your eyes on the Singaporean market. How do you plan on opening that up? Do you have a time frame for that, or is that something after? I mean, tell us a little bit about what you see as the immediate waypoints and like milestones that you're working towards.
Right now we'll be launching open to public so that event organizers can host the event, all that. So that will be around September. From there, we also preparing to be much more community centric. We want to be community, especially developers community, so that they can organize their events easier, and they could go direct to us and all that.
And are you planning activities for that yourselves?
Also that we include.
What would that be, for example?
Definitely like giving them job careers for developers and all that, and also hackathon maybe. And also maybe so in Singapore also, and even in KL, they have what's called huge trend among teenagers who is into fashion and all that. So we would like to organize the events, especially for the streetwear brand.
Okay. Interesting. So why are you organising events for them? Is it just so you can attract the talent and get the people in and talk to them, or is it because you want to talk to the venue managers?
No, because we want to create a community actually. Because we want to create a community so that they're able to connect with each other among the community members and all that.
But I'm trying to think through as an investor now, is that building community is expensive.
That's right.
So how would you do that in a way which is cost effective?
So currently, although we also hold an event and all that, but in exchange we would like to get them to organize their events by themselves also.
Okay.
So that give what's called, that will be an exchange. In our position transition actually. That's the word I would say.
Okay. The students or the young people?
The community members.
The community members. Okay, I mean, it's interesting. You're building a community around what you're doing. That itself may have a lot of value beyond the actual event space itself. So, I mean, do you see like the event space as being a platform to build out other things in the future, or is it all going to be focused on events?
Mainly focusing on events.
Okay, interesting. Because I just wondered in terms, I mean, obviously you're focused on 100% on making sure that your platform, your event marketplace works. I wonder in the future whether there's extra value that people can see in it. If you build a community around that, well, you also have created a community that's valuable to a lot of different people, not just event managers. You've also got a community that may be valuable to PR companies, to advertisers, to marketers, and so on, right. Even to recruiters as well. I mean, if you're reaching out and building relationships with, like you said, like young people who are starting in a career path, that's really valuable.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, there you go. So there's some extra value baked in for the future. Thanks. Well, Harith, I think it's great to hear from you. And, you know, I wonder what I was doing at 19 years old, and it certainly wasn't being as productive as you or ambitious as you. So,
what were you doing?
19 years old. Well, I was definitely at university, but I think the thing is, and maybe this is interesting, where your dad came in, is that you had some good mentoring and somebody put you on the right path. I was into coding like you. I don't think the opportunities for coding were as big back 19 years ago. I'm talking 1991.
Wow.
Right, to put into context, right? So in the early 90s, it was pre-Windows. Everything was pretty much written in BASIC or machine code. There were a lot of people programming. Yeah. But for example, there weren't many people. If you said I wanted to make something, you couldn't. You know, you would have to, if you wanted to make something, you would have to work for a developer or a games company as an employee. I didn't know anybody that could take computers and create a business out of it back then. So, you know, and also I didn't have the kind of guidance that you did at 19. That's right. So that's made a big difference, I think. Yeah,
actually, because with the presence of social media and all that, right, I think that creates a huge difference. Yeah, between my generation and your generation.
Right, well, Habbo Hotel, there you go.
Yeah. And also I could connect with everyone through Instagram, through LinkedIn. You know, actually social media is a powerful thing, actually. Yeah.
Are you getting advice and things like that through social media, like business advice, or are you just finding inspiration there?
Yeah, it's not just finding inspiration, but we have some advice that we receive. I mean, not we, but me. Yeah.
And in terms of yourself as well, Harith, are you actually sharing your story and your journey out there? Because, you know, I mean, being 19, starting a startup, I'm sure there are people within your immediate circle, and maybe a few, you know, another concentric circle, are interested in what you're doing and thinking, wow, I want to do that.
Yeah, actually, you know, it also took me by surprise, because when I was 14, they called me like, you know, it's kind of a risky move and all that, right?
Risky mover.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
Well, I would say maybe if things goes right. Yeah, right. But also, you know, as they see that I take things seriously, because, you know, most teenagers, they see that if they see hurdles or challenges, they would stop. Yeah. But as I see challenges, especially in coding, right, sometimes it will make me frustrated at times. But yeah, as soon as they see that I'm immediately or continuously doing these things, about five of my friends are into computer science right now. Yeah. So it was really surprising that they are also interested in to taking the course.
Yeah. Do you get younger kids? I mean, I say kids because I mean like younger teenagers. They're not even adults yet. Do they kind of reach out to you and say, "Hey, look, you know, I'm 14."
No,
not yet.
Not yet. But yeah, the one who is younger than me in my high school, they seem to really interested into talking about entrepreneurship. And a little bit about coding as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I ask because my son's 12, and pretty much everything he's ever learned has come from YouTube, right? Yeah. So, and I know they go onto YouTube and they particularly pay attention to the people in there sort of older by about 4, 5, 6 years. So he will pay attention to people who are like 17, 18, 19, at that sort of age group. You know, people who sort of at the end of their education, like traditional education, maybe going to university, and, you know, they have their YouTube channels and so on. And they're very influential to that age group coming through, you know, like 12, 13, 14, very impressionable in a positive way as well, because, you know, they can teach many things, much more than the teacher could teach. You know, if they see an example of somebody doing something positive like you, that can be quite a powerful impact on their lives.
Yeah, that's right. Because now kids, they are accessible to internet. It's just a matter of what kind of content that you want to consume. Yeah, just like TV. Because right now, I mean, I don't know back in the days, but
back in them days,
but my era. Yeah, but right now YouTube can be, you know, when I was 14 also, I accessed YouTube to learn coding. And it's just not part of YouTube also. I watch business documentary.
Yeah.
So I learn from YouTube as well.
Yeah, good. And I think as well, there's certainly an opportunity for you to build your community through YouTube as well, is that by documenting your journey, what I find, is that a lot of the founders who come in, any age, a lot of the founders who come and sit in this studio, whether they're raising money, they raise money, they're Series A, Series B, whatever it is that they often are so busy doing what they're doing that they don't often think about their journey. Their heads are down, building the code, building the business, recruiting people, out there raising money. They don't think about that journey and actually sharing that with people and realizing how powerful that is, because it is sometimes, especially when you surround yourself with motivated people, and you surround yourself with entrepreneurial coding types, you think that becomes normal, but in many ways it isn't. It's it's an exception to a lot of people. So I always sort of think that one of the strengths of being an entrepreneur and being very busy and being very successful is that we don't have a lot of time. It's also a weakness to share our successes and our journey with those who could really benefit from it as well. So.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if I had started to influence them, because everyone's it's an influencer, just a matter of numbers actually. Yeah. But if I had done earlier, maybe everyone could be doing something much more better than me actually. Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's still time. You're only 19. Not to say in a patronising way, but there's so many years ahead of you, right?
That's right.
Okay, so, I mean, just in rounding up as well, growing your team, obviously you're raising at the moment, you'll be growing your team in the future. I'm sure you're looking for new people. I'm sure people listening or watching this may think, wow, I want to work for this guy, or somebody may say, I think I can advise this guy or open some doors for him as well and his team. What kind of people are you looking for in the future? Not necessarily on the technical side, but maybe more on the mindset, cultural side. What kind of company culture do you offer for them that you say, okay, we want these kind of people and they work in these kind of ways?
So right now, that's what we're currently doing is that we just like continuing to fulfill our deadline, all that, execute our tasks. So with that in mind, just that we want to be someone who is really really motivated and also collaborative mindset, sharing ideas, sharing opinions, because it's just that we don't want to be one way thinking. We want to welcome diversity thoughts and also exchange values among each other.
Okay, and in KL, where could they be based?
Preferably in KL or Singapore.
KL, Singapore. And I know, not being specific with the roles you're recruiting for, but would they be technical people or sales type people? What kind of backgrounds? Or do they have to have any experience? I mean, what happens if he was 17 or 18?
Well, actually, sometimes we are open to every ideas, even I don't want someone who is a kid. That could really give us something that we couldn't see. As someone who has a different perspective or maybe much more better strategic way of thinking. Then we open to that kind of idea because as I see that some of the experience I encountered is that there was age discrimination. So we want to get that as a bridge. Instead of a wall.
Right. Very good. And so you're open to people pitching you. Saying, hey, look, I want to come and work for you. I can do this. This is what I've built in the past. I may not have 10 years of experience, but hey, look, I built this app, or I built this game, or I was involved in this project. Outside of what you're told to do at school or university, and also what you're paid to do. Those are the kind of people that I think really add value. That's what we look for here. Is that the people who have done stuff where they weren't told to do it. The weekends they were building an app or they're building a project and so on. Harith, Bakri, it's great to have you on, and it's great to have you all the way from KL. I wish you all the best in your journey.
Thanks.
Hopefully it goes well. We'll put all the details in the show notes. And for all those people that are listening that want to reach out, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Well, it's either through email or just WhatsApp me.
WhatsApp. Okay, so we'll publish all your details if that's okay.
Sure, no problem.
Excellent. That's Harith Bakri, everybody. Co-founder of Galaspace. Going places.
I hope so.
Hope so too. Harith, thank you very much for coming
thanks.
today. Oh, do the shake. I can't reach over. I've got the mic stuck in my head. Well done, man. Good.